most beautiful moments in someone's life is the matrimony of themselves with someone else, marriage. The union between two people signifying their dedication to each other and their relationship. Many different aspects play a role in weddings, from the venue, to the decorations, to the guests. But one thing that stands out amongst the rest is the actual attire worn by the bride, and in this case, the groom. Traditionally, in American weddings, the bride wears a white wedding gown while the groom wears a tuxedo. However, in Filipino weddings, not only does the bride wear white, but the groom does too, wearing a traditional sheer white button-up long sleeve called the Barong Tagalog, or barong for short. Today, I will share with you my cultural artifact, the barong, a Filipino traditional shirt. As many people know, the Philippines was once a Spanish colony for many centuries. This brought a lot of Spanish influence on their food, clothing, and language. Over the course of this ruling, Filipinos fought with the Spanish over the clothes they wore, as the Spanish tried to instate many rules and regulations to keep the Filipinos inferior and under control. Eventually, Filipinos were able to find loopholes in these regulations and gain power back for themselves. According to the article, A Rich and Interesting History of the Barong Tagalog by Vinta Gallery, Filipinos slowly began to add elaborate embroidery on designs on the front of their barongs to subtly express their rebellious disdain of the injustices Filipinos faced under the Spanish regime. This showed how they were slowly breaking free from their oppressors, one stitch at a time. Today, I will go over how the barong represents my Filipino culture, how I personally identify with it, and lastly, how it is used in the culture today. This artifact represents Filipino culture, as most of the current culture is a mix of Spanish influence on pre-colonial Filipino culture. The Spanish-made Filipino males wear an untucked, transparent populist shirt such as this. This was to ensure that A, they remained inferior, as an untucked shirt looked less proper compared to a tucked shirt. B, transparent, so they conceal if they were concealing weapons underneath their clothes. And C, lastly, to ensure that they weren't hiding or stealing anything in the pockets of their clothing. Eventually, some Filipinos climbed up in social ranks and were able to gain the abilities to own land and vote, but this didn't mean that they were allowed to wear their shirts untucked, or if they were allowed to use expensive fabrics such as silk to make their shirts. So instead, they used a much cheaper and finer material, pineapple leaves, to embroider the fronts of their shirts with elaborate designs to show that their shirts were also beautiful and nice too. Eventually, with their independence, the barong became the national dress of the Philippines, representing a symbol of resistance to colonization. However, it wasn't until the president, the man of the masses, President Magsaysay, wore it again when the barong became fashionable and popular amongst the people. From that point on, barongs were fashionable and people wore them wherever they went, even garnering a week of celebration in June. To me, the barong is much more than a shirt. It is a combination of cultural differences into one, similar to how marriage is. This shirt itself is a combination of Spanish and Filipino culture combining into one to create a beautiful garment that you see here today. Marriage is also similar, as it's two people combining into one, their cultures and all, creating something beautiful too. For me, it was when my parents decided to get married that their two cultures mixed together, creating the biracial children that they have here today. The shirt and I share the knowledge and knowing that we are not defined by one single cultural identity, and that no matter what we are and what we're made of, every single atom of our being, from the good to the bad, makes up who we are and what makes us us. As I briefly explained earlier, the barong can be used as wedding attire. It is worn by the groom and sometimes the groomsmen. This variant of the shirt is a special occasion one that is more elaborate with the design and everything on it. Usually it is worn untucked, layered on top of an undershirt with black pants and dress shoes. As we can see in this picture of my parents from their second wedding in the Philippines, my father is wearing the barong, an undershirt, black pants, and dress shoes. Besides the special occasion formal version, they also come in an informal version with short sleeves instead of long sleeves. This can be used as everyday wear or a part of your daily work uniform. Over the course of many years, the barong has undergone many different variants to get to where it is today. Today I have shared with you how the barong represents my culture, how I personally identify with it, and lastly how it is used in the culture today. This is much more than a shirt, as it transcends differences in culture to bring people together and unite them. Interwoven in the fabric is the stories of the people who made it, along with the stories the newlywed will create. A never-ending chain of culture and heritage. Thank you.